Animals are adorable and loving creatures, but do you know they can cause the most bizarre deaths? The earth is full of fascinating species, and we love our animals dearly, but our interactions with them don't always end up in warmth and joy. Indeed, over the past few decades, many people have met their unexpected demise either accidentally or intentionally through animals. Humans have been at the top of the food chain for a very long time, with access to powerful tools that can dominate and conquer any wildlife. But occasionally, nature strikes back in ways that are either tragic or strange. So in today's video, we will cover the top 10 most bizarre human deaths caused by animals. Stay until the end because you might just learn something that will save your life one day. Number 10. Death by a chicken. A California animal trainer was stabbed to death by a chicken. How did this happen? If someone tells you to get a hobby, they probably don't mean watching cockfights, which is against the law in all 50 US states and a felony in most of them. If they do, and that little fact isn't enough to change their mind, this story about a man getting killed by a rooster might be. In 2011, Jose Ochoa was watching a cockfight when the police showed up and caused a big scene, making people and animals run away. During the chaos, a chicken with a knife on its legs stabbed Ochoa in the right calf. 2 hours later, the man died in the hospital from that sharp force injury. Ochoa had received fines for owning and training a fighting animal in the past, so that was no coincidence that he lost his life to it. Number 9. Death by a duck. There are several dangerous animals in the sea. For example, the mention of sharks strikes fear in the hearts of many people. However, a man from Florida got killed by a different kind of animal that nobody expected. Ducks don't seem too dangerous to most of us unless something unusual happens. However, in 2001, Leon Resnick was riding on a jet ski when he hit a flying duck and fell unconscious into the water. His partner wasn't aware of what happened and thus couldn't save him in time. Resnick's death was a rare case of a human fatality involving a duck. Near where he drowned, people also found the duck's dead body. Number 8. Death by a goat. Most people don't think of goats as dangerous animals, but every year more and more people are getting hurt by goats, so we cannot underestimate these docile-looking creatures. In 2010, a 63-year-old man named Robert Boardman was hiking with his family on a mountain trail in Washington's Olympic National Park when they came across a very aggressive mountain goat. Boardman told his family to stay away from the goat while he tried to scare it away. They left it to him and kept walking, but a scream from Boardman made them run back to find him on the ground with an injured leg. Even though Boardman was taken to the hospital by flight, the doctor couldn't save him in time. The culprit was captured and killed eventually. Number 7. Death by a giraffe. Giraffes are strange, fascinating creatures that don't look like any other in the animal kingdom. Since giraffes are only found in Africa and are on the list of endangered species, most of us will never see one in the wild, let alone while walking our dogs in the afternoon. On the other hand, it would have been better for one woman if she hadn't. In 2010, Merkie Engelbrecht from South Africa was walking her dogs when one of them got loose and ran towards a group of giraffes, stirring them in fear. She went to get her dog, but a giraffe trying to protect its baby kicked her in the neck. The impact of the kick killed her instantly. Number 6. Death by a deer. It is not unusual to see a deer on the road at night, especially if you live in a wooded area. Unfortunately, it's also common to be caught off guard and hit the deer by accident, which can cause a lot of damage to your car. Statistics show that over 1.5 million accidents happen every year because of deer. However, it is rare for a crash to send a deer flying into another driver's vehicle, as in the case of David Lang in 2017. One night as he was driving, a car from the opposite direction struck a deer, launching it into the air to fall onto his windshield. The landing caused him to crash his car, and he died from the immediate impact. Number 5. Death by a cow. In July 2013, a Brazilian couple was asleep in bed when a cow fell through their roof. This 3,000-pound animal was grazing on a hill next to their house when it climbed onto the thin, corrugated roof. The animal fell almost 8 feet onto João Marie de Souza, the husband. At first, he seemed like he was doing pretty well. Although he went to the hospital with a broken leg, he was awake and able to talk like usual. Unfortunately, he died from internal bleeding while waiting for the doctor to take a look at him. As for de Souza's wife, she was unscathed. The cow also suffered no damage from the fall. Number 4. Death by a llama. What could feel better than coming home to be greeted by a happy pet and hearing their feet rush towards you with a pitter-pattering sound? We can never imagine that our pets would accidentally kill us. But for one woman, this terrible thought was a sad reality. In 2012, when Ohioan Lanahan came home, her pet llama was so happy to see her owner that she ran to meet her. While running, the llama slipped on the wet pavement and knocked the woman down, hitting her head on the ground. She was able to call for help, but the paramedics couldn't do anything for her. On the way to the hospital, Lanahan died of a heart attack. Number 3. Death by a hamster. We don't want anyone to die unless they have done something very horrible to deserve it, such as a murderer or a predator. But we can all agree that the death of an innocent child hurts us in a way that other deaths don't. An 11-year-old girl from Hong Kong, whose name wasn't made public, was playing with her pet hamster one night in 2013 when it bit her finger. After her parents had cleaned the wound, the girl went to the bathroom and got cramps. Within an hour, she was dead. Experts think she must have had a severe allergic reaction to the bite, even though the initial investigation didn't find out why she died so quickly. Number 2. Death by a sheep. Most people don't think they will live to be 90 or older, so even fewer people would expect a 94-year-old man to die not of natural causes, but by a sheep. However, this happened to one man in 2016 when he went for a walk in the countryside of France. He was found dead in a field with injuries that looked like being stepped on. The culprit of his death was determined to be a sheep. The sheep responsible for knocking the man down and trampling on him had been known in the area for attacking people without any reason. Shortly after the victim's death, the sheep was caught and killed. Number 1. Death by piranhas. Despite their scary reputation and featured appearance in horror movies, piranhas rarely attack people. Fatalities are even rarer. Most attacks only cause minor injuries or, at most, the loss of a finger. When they attack, it's usually because people are spilling food into the river, which attracts them to the area. And if they ever feel like they are in danger, they might bite. In December 2011, a Bolivian fisherman who was 18 years old got drunk and worked up the courage to jump into a river infested with piranhas. He was surrounded and torn apart by these vicious fish. Even then, the man died from losing too much blood, so the feared fish didn't eat him whole. There are a lot of stories and reports about how these primitive animals have hurt and killed people. As we think of ourselves as having moved up the food chain, many of us have forgotten how to get around and stay alive because we are so attracted to this idea.